Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sascha Fahrbach. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz is addressing the German parliament Thursday morning as his government presses ahead with one of the biggest economic and strategic shifts in the country's post-war history. Berlin is proposing record defense spending, hundreds of billions of euros in new borrowing, and a major expansion of its defense industry, even as Europe's largest car maker, Volkswagen, considers unprecedented factory closures and up to 100,000 job cuts. Joining us now is Konrad Popławski, project coordinator at the Center for Eastern Studies. Good to have you with us.
Good morning.
So, from the outset, I think the German Chancellor has just spoken now in Berlin, addressing Parliament there, the Bundestag. Germany has been for a long time known for fiscal restraint, a powerful economy, but now a shift very much in different ways. Higher borrowing, more on defense. What's the first takeaway from all this, and is it sustainable?
Yeah, you're right. Before, we've seen that Germany was very stark on fiscal restraint, and they really tried to focus on budget consolidation, and they were rather not so eager to increase military expenditures, although despite many comments and words that it's needed. But right now we are seeing a really 180% shift, 180 degrees shift. So we really see that the military expenditures will grow. The government just revealed the figures for the fiscal plan, so very meaningful document, which states how Germany will plan its expenditures in the next years, and we see that from this year to 2030, the military expenditures will grow by around 80% to close to 200 billion euros. So it's really meaningful change, and most of this increase will be financed from debt, because the coalition couldn't agree for much more fiscal restraint, for cutting some social benefits and so on. We see here some progress, so some minor changes are there. There are some savings on pensions, on social welfare. But it's nothing meaningful because we have social democrats at the government, so they don't allow for stronger moves in this direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as you said, this is a draft proposal. I think this will have to be decided later on in the year. You've said that this will come at an opportunity cost, heavy impact there on defense, an increase, as you mentioned, billions more. It'll be one of the highest spenders if all that goes ahead. But as you said, borrowing is going to be a key issue here, something like 800 billion euros or something of this massive amount. Looking at the opportunity cost there, just briefly, is this something that, I don't want to get too much into the German domestic politics, but is this something that the German economy can stomach long term?
That's a huge question, and a question mark over it. So basically, it seems that the plan of the government is to use this money to strengthen the economy. So they would like to use this money for contracts for the defense industry, but also here is the plan to engage, for example, automobile industry, which has huge problems, structural problems, to a little bit transform and shift to production of for military purposes. Mm-hmm. But it's a huge gamble if they succeed in this respect, because first of all, the contracts need to be delivered fast, because the threats from Russia and this geopolitical situation is quite unstable, and the weapons are needed now, not in 2040 or 2050, as it was sometimes the case. And the other thing is if they are really competitive as compared to the international competition, because we have also many European producers. Some of the weapons needed to be ordered in the US, as for example planes or some fighter jets. So it's a huge gamble if it really helps the economy to survive very difficult time, because we also need to tell to our listeners, to our watchers, that Germany copes with the problems with stagnation. Actually, since COVID, the economy doesn't grow too fast, and we have huge problems with recession and with structural problems. So it's one of the ways out, So fulfilling expectations of many allies, and especially the US and Donald Trump's expectations, and trying to curb the economy in this respect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also just speaking a very short time ago, actually addressing the Parliament, just listening in to what the Chancellor was saying. Also, when you mentioned these contracts, and actually this submarine deal where Canada will buy many of these submarines, also including with Norway, he said that that's the biggest defense contract ever in German history. But as you said, it's one contract. But also, if we look out, I mean, Germany cannot produce all these things. You mentioned stagnation. There, at the same time, factories that are closing down, Volkswagen, different things. Can we see a reindustrialization of some of those plants, from cars to defense? How does that work on supply chain? How does the region benefit? What about Poland and the Czech Republic? Will they benefit from all this?
I would say that it's very difficult to say now how it works in practice. Because on the one hand, we've seen these contracts. You're right that the German press treated these orders from Canada as a great success for the industry. But for now, there is so many of such contracts. So many contracts should flow from the German budget. Mm-hmm. So I think partly this could succeed, but I don't think that it could be a real driver of the whole economy. It's too huge. It's too big, and even automobile industry is just too huge. It could be one of the pillars, but not something that will revive the whole economy, in my opinion. So. Looking from the Central European perspective, so it's very good that it happens, and it's a symbol of reliability of Germany, and Europe is ready to strengthen its defense. But I'm not sure if there will be too much industrial cooperation. I think that Germany would like firstly to focus on its domestic producers, which also have its own problems. I think some cases of cooperation could be. We've seen some talks with Czech Republic. We've seen some talk with the Polish government, some offers to the Polish governments. But I don't expect that it will be something very meaningful. It won't be so easy. In the past, we've seen that many of such negotiations failed, and for example, in case of Poland, many of expenditures are already planned. So these proposals of cooperation are coming a little bit too late. But we'll see. For sure, some cases will be there.
Okay. So if I'm heard it correctly from you, in terms of a lot of that initial now building up, focusing on the economy, focusing on German defense, it's going to be basically focused on Germans itself for now. Also, if we're looking at that spending, because I mean, these numbers are key, and I want to make sure that we understand them correctly. I mean, in that budget draft, it looks like there will be much more spent on defense. I mean, I just want to clear the confusion, because it looks like on the full budget, this will increase for defense by about 25%. So we're looking at around 109 billion now, and we'll have much more on top of that, so it'll increase. But I think for GDP, it's still around, what, 3%? So tell us a little bit more about what that means, the defense concentration for that German budget.
Yeah, Germany will simply try to fulfill these NATO obligations. So 3.5% of GDP. So something that, for example, Poland and the Baltic states achieved already. And from the German perspective, where they have social democrats at the coalition, it's a huge problem because without that you cannot make such huge moves and change the whole budget structure without saving. So at that moment, taking debt is the only opportunity. And to be honest, this effort is quite impressive because if you look at the budget positions in the planning, you see that actually military expenditures are the only expenditures that are growing really significantly, and this growth is really robust. So as I said before, 180% in 4 years. In 2030, it should be really huge amounts. Mm-hmm. And we've seen some savings and even savings in some innovation policy. For example, there are cuts on the innovation projects between small and medium companies and universities. So it's very interesting, and it's a huge bet because, for example, Germany will also try to push for strengthening infrastructure investments, but they won't grow so fast as military budgets. So we see that
on the military budget there.
Bet.
Yeah. So as you said, the bet first building on machinery, cars. Let's see if defense can be that next pillar for the German economy and for the European economy for growth. Let's see. Thanks so much for that, Konrad Popławski. There, appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching World Talks. But stay right here on TVP World for more. Goodbye.